So, you want to learn how to draw this guy over here, the king of the monsters? Well, I can help you out with that, so let's get to it. Okay, so first thing I like to do is I always start off with just kind of loose shapes that I put on the paper. Just kind of blocking it in. This also is a good way of preventing yourself from kind of drawing off the page, so it's kind of just getting a sense of where everything's going to be at. So I'm just going to do a general kind of guideline here of I want the drawing to fit, and since it's got a long tail and I want it to fit on this page here, I'm going to curve it up. So Godzilla has a very small, blocky head, short snout, so especially this design, the legendary Godzilla. So that'll be the head. Big, thick neck. Also, big, round shoulders. Put them right here. Thick upper arms. Not like long upper arms, but they're pretty thick. And the shoulder obviously is going to come over that bicep and tricep here. A little bit more thickness to the tricep. Forearm. Forearm's a little bit longer than the upper arm, but it's thinner. So we're just going to block in this little shape here. The hand will be in that general area right there. So yeah, just not doing any details yet, just trying to get a feeling of how everything's going to fit on here. Also with the shoulder, let's kind of put in a sense of where the chest is going to be. Also, Godzilla has a really thick upper back here. That's kind of like the lat, this area right here, right? So it's kind of very round, thick back there. And then honestly, like the Godzilla's really big, thick legs, and they kind of come up almost right up to where that lat ends there. They come up really high on the body, actually. The legs do. So let's kind of put these in here. The other leg right here. That's where the kneecap's going to be, right there. Actually, I'm going to need to bring this tail down because you want it to flow right here. So this is where the pelvis region is, so obviously it's going to continue down through the tail. I'm just going to loop it, bring that down. Obviously it gets thinner as you get to the tip of the tail. Put some thick calves here. That's kind of where the leg's going to end, and then we'll put the feet down. Big, thick, chunky thighs. That's how Godzilla's supposed to be. I kind of like the, I like a little bit of the design aspect of the newest Godzilla from Godzilla X Kong. They took inspiration from Godzilla 2000, definitely with that design, where you can see like with the spines, the dorsal plates, basically that kind of purplish crystal-like look. That's Godzilla 2000, heavily inspired there, which I've always liked. I don't mind the purple, more jaggedy spines, but the thing I'm not the biggest fan of with Godzilla X Kong, the evolved Godzilla design, is just how skinny they end up turning them. I don't like that. Godzilla's supposed to be very bulky. Unless you're talking about that 1998 travesty of a Godzilla, which technically it's not even really Godzilla. It's not referred to as Godzilla. It's just Zilla. It's not the real Godzilla. So always make your Godzilla thick legs, thick chest, thick big barrel chest. Not like a fat stomach, you know. It's rock solid, but you know, there's definitely thickness there in that. Think of Godzilla like a strong man, like a power lifter type of physique. It's not supposed to be like lean. And we're gonna throw this other arm back here, kind of behind the shoulder. Alright, just blocking this in. A little hand, claw. Alright. How's it looking? Okay. So, here we go. We're getting the general feel of everything. Getting it all laid out, and then let me go ahead and erase away the head a little bit. Just kind of cleaning it up a little bit. Okay, so for the head, like I said, short snout, very blocky sort of head. So I want to first start off by doing almost a square snout, and then it's going to come down here because his jaw is going to be open a little bit. So I'm going to come down here with this little membrane here in between the upper jaw and lower jaw. Never forget to put this in right here. You always need that whenever you're drawing like dinosaurs, dragons, anything like that. Don't ever forget that little membrane right there. Put the mouth. Just some basic little lines for the nostrils there. Then very kind of like slanted, sloping forehead. There's not much like, it's very streamlined. His like eyebrow ridge, you know, and also cheekbones right there. Lower jaw is going to be thinner right by the chin. It's always going to be thinner than the upper jaw, and then it gets thicker here towards the back. Put a little tongue in there. Alright, so getting a good sense of the layout. Erase away some of that so you can make it out better. Come in here, let me add the fingers here to the palm. So this is where I always do like a square shape right here to kind of get the shape of the hand, and then you put the fingers basically just coming off it. And that last finger is going to kind of be turning under like that, so you won't see the nail there. I mean, honestly, once you get the basic shape of Godzilla in, it's kind of smooth sailings from there. It's just really a lot of scales, and once you put the dorsal plates on, there ain't much else to it. But let's get here into the face a little bit more. So let me darken this up so you can see a little bit better. So very blocky snout there, right? The eyebrow ridge just kind of goes right over the snout. And now one of the things here with the spikes with Godzilla, how they transition kind of into those dorsal plates, there's lines that basically kind of flow with, you have the eyebrow ridge, and then you have another set of kind of spikes that come off the cheekbone right here. So I'm just going to kind of put these little guidelines here of how it's going to be. And then there's another set which kind kind of comes right off of the back of the jaw here. And this also kind of just comes back here. These are just guidelines for where we're going to start putting the spikes. And then down here, we'll put general guidelines of those kind of gills that Godzilla has. So that down to the chest. Godzilla's chest is kind of reminds me of like a almost like turtle-like, how it's like armor plated. And it's almost, it looks a little bit like these armor plated abs, but they're on the chest. So just kind of block these in here like that. Just these three little type of ab looking things, but obviously they're not abs. It's just armor. It's armor plating, dude. Okay. So up underneath it's got a really tiny eye. So, I mean, you can't really mess that up, right? It's just a little circle, oval circle type of thing. Put some wrinkles underneath here, and just kind of darken it around the eye. Darken around the eye there, just to kind of give it that sunken in eye cavity sort of feeling. All right. So we're getting there. Let me clean this up a little bit. So let's throw in these little teeth. Godzilla doesn't have big teeth, he's got very small, sharp ones. So, I mean, that's pretty straightforward how to draw teeth, just little baby triangles, you know. Now let's start getting into a little bit more of the details here, right? So we got the design basically fleshed out here. Now we're gonna, so like I said, the eyebrow ridge here has a set of spikes that basically come off. So we're just gonna kind of, just by doing that, right over those lines. And then as it gets further back here, the spikes and the dorsal plates and everything get bigger. So they start off small and then they get bigger, obviously here around the back, but then again they'll taper off and get smaller there. So as we get closer here, they won't be just these little triangles, they'll start to turn into that iconic sort of maple leaf shape as they go further up here. So and there's no like one correct way to draw the dorsal plates, you know. There's so many different iterations and stuff. Just, you know, spiky triangle type of shapes, right? And then we're gonna go over here and kind of give the impression of those plates here. And depending on what Godzilla you draw, will, you know, influence how you want to do the dorsal plates. Like Godzilla 2014, the dorsal plates which were much more jagged and like I don't know how I describe it. Almost like this rocky type of like plating. They didn't look as you know, maple leaf shaped or anything like that, as they end up turning into with King of the Monsters and then all those other Godzilla films that took place after, where they kind of brought back that iconic shape. And then again, coming off the cheekbone here, we're going to start putting in these little impressions of these spikes. And then down here, coming off that lower jaw. And as I go back here, like I said, they get bigger and they get like a little bit messier too. So it doesn't have to be, you know, all streamlined. Right. And then one of the ways you can do the scaling. So based on where the scaling is at on Godzilla, there's like, it's like different types. So like around the neck, and like the arms and the legs, it's much more like armored plating looking versus like around the rib cage here and like the underside of the neck and like the face and everything. They're a little bit more of that kind of just bumpy reptilian look. But like I said, up here it's more like a armored plating, almost like crocodile like. So it's actually very easy. We don't have to do like some fancy thing with it. Just put in your lines like this. And then do the same thing here. Just these little lines. And it's just an easy way to give a little impression and like detail, like those are scales type of thing, right? And then as we get to the face, the details will get smaller. You put some lines here for the jaw. Just give these little impressions that there's like these little scales and stuff there, right? So let's move on to the shoulder a little bit here. So the scales, like I said, the scales right here on the shoulder aren't like that sort of lined plating look. They're a little bit more just kind of bumpy. So we're just gonna kind of throw down these very just simple bumpy scales, right? And then, as we get down the upper arm here, we're just going to give the impression like there's sort of like plated armor plating there, right? So just kind of make almost like these little jaggedy kind of squiggly lines. Doesn't have to be, you know, super like tight, you know, just throw them in here. And then go to like if you go like the outside of the lines here instead of having it being straight, just to further that impression that it's like these rocky scales, just add these kind of little ridges here just to further show those sort of plates. So, and you kind of line it up with each like section here. So that's a section there, and see how it kind of carries down like that. And then you could throw like just these little lines just to kind of break them up a little bit. And then they carry down into each knuckle and finger. Like that. And then work my way back up to here. We'll just do kind of a simple lines like that. And like I said, they Godzilla's got scales like right here, so we will just kind of put these in this general area, and they're also kind of just these little C-shaped type of things, and then just put like these little indentions like that, and then I just kind of put these little lines like this, so they really blend in with the neck on the actual like design, because everything's so dark with Godzilla, but just so you can get a sense of how they are. So that, we'll go over to this shoulder here, just throwing some quick little bumps there. And this arm is coming from behind, obviously, so the shoulder right here is in front of the forearm. Godzilla has 4 fingers, by the way, 3 fingers and a thumb. And then just throw in your little lines here for the scaling, and then kind of have them flow into the armor, or the forearm scales, and then again just kind of put these little jaggedy lines, and then throw in a couple little lines like that. So we're down to the stomach here. Don't really need to throw too much detail on there. It's pretty, you could just throw like some lines and stuff. It's not a big deal. Alright, and now let's get down to the thighs. So similar to how you did the forearms here, do the same thing with the thighs. This is actually pretty easy. So just take, so the shape, right, it's a rounded shape, so don't do like flat lines. You want to have them curve with the shape of the thigh, right? So we're just going to throw in, I'm just going to do these basic guidelines here. Don't need to be perfect. They can be different, like thickness and variety and stuff, because it's not like this perfectly symmetrical type of thing, you know. They're just kind of thrown in all over the place, and then we'll clean them up. You just want to make it a little bit like the plates are overlapping one another. So same thing, we're going to come in here and just kind of give that impression. And then towards the hamstring, the underneath part of the thigh, these plates kind of end a little bit, and then we just give these little simple shapes there. Alright, so let me go back over here. Alright, and then like we did with that, just throw in some of these little kind of lines here, just to break it up a little bit. Alright, getting there. And then the way the plates come down here, they kind of get this little shape like this. and then kind of break off, because each kind of scale pattern flows into each toe, basically. Come here, give it a little bit of jaggedy sort of look. And then we'll come down here to the toes. Big, thick claws down here. Just throwing some lines like this just to kind of rough them up. They don't need much detail or anything to them. And then this last toe over here, like the pinky toe kind of, is actually like smaller. It's like this little hook toe. Like that. And I just kind of throw those lines to kind of merge with the scaling there. Alright. Easy stuff, guys. Easy stuff. So we'll go back over to this leg, do the same thing that we did with this one. You're just going to throw down these kind of lines here. There's no one way to really do them. Just put them down. Make them random. Kind of that back fold right here from where the bottom part of the thigh meets the calf. And his leg's so thick, honestly, you're not really... I'll throw like a little bit of shape there that you can see. So just replicate what you did here. Kind of just like these little U-ish type of shapes here. And then again, let's get down to the claw. And basically, like everything with this Godzilla design, you can apply to all the other designs. You just have to switch up like a little bit of the stuff based on what iteration you're doing, but in general, all this kind of stuff's very similar. So now let's get to the tail. Tail's pretty easy. I mean, can't really mess this up. So the plating with the tail, the upper part here is just like this. So carry that down into here. It's just like this armored plating type of thing. So we'll just put in some general lines like this. And actually, let me bring the under part of the tail here, get the separation. I'm gonna bring like that because the tail is gonna be twisting in a way like this. So the back of the like spine or whatever kind of comes down, so the spikes will be there, so that will end up hiding the underbelly there because that'll be underneath this part here because of the way it's going. So let's go over here, just throw in your lines, and then since the tail is turning like I said, just like that, and then come in here, and then because this part of the tail is overlapping the underbelly, put in this sort of shape here like that to show that it's folding over that part. And then this part's For your detail, just throw in some, you know, curved lines. That's all you gotta do for the under part of the tail. It's easy. Alright. So, how are we looking? Good so far? Let me bring that down here, actually. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Just gotta do the spines, you know, just the iconic part. So, let's get back up over here and start throwing in those dorsal plates. So, let's just start giving them this sort of shape there. Details, you don't really need to throw too many. Just throw some random lines and stuff. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And then like the dorsal plates, like there's different rows. Actually, hold on, let me show you. So here's a little example. So you can see there's 3 different rows of dorsal plates, really, like 3 main lines. So the ones here on the outsides are a little bit smaller than the main one along the spine. That's always going to be your biggest set of dorsal plates. And then these, basically these 2 are kind of the exact same, not the exact same shape, but exact same size as each other. They're going to be a little bit smaller than that primary ridge there. But you can see like the shape, just like very, you know, spiky stegosaurus type of dorsal plating. There's no really one right way to do it, you know. Just kind of draw them in here, make them jaggedy, make them kind of random. Again, they're going to be the biggest right here around the center of the back. So let me kind of go over here. Just throw in your little lines just to pretend it has some detail. I'm going to come back here to the center of the back where it's going to have the biggest. And let's really make them towering over that other one there. Getting there, we're getting there. Come back down here. And we'll throw in. We're getting shoulder now because it's further down the leg. Just random little plates. And then as we get further down here, they start to go back to like they were down here, right? So they get less elaborate, more kind of short and stumpy looking. Just throwing these little jagged type of things, you know. Random spikes. About there, folks. Just about there. Come back up here to the armored plating on the tail. Kind of give them that separation. Back over here. Block that in. Clean up the lines a little bit with my little eraser. And that's just about it, folks, you know. Pretty easy once you well, I mean, you need to study. Obviously, that's the first thing you need to do. Like, check your references. Always have a reference. Like I literally have a reference right now. I mean, I've got this guy. I've got a giant Godzilla statue to my left. I've even got pictures pulled up on the PC. So always use your references just to kind of help guide you, get your proportions right, and all that kind of stuff. And then with some practice, you'll be able to draw like this easy. Yeah, so that's just about it, folks. Nothing else to it. Simple little Godzilla there. I'll just let me clean up the line work real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. Alright, so I just kind of thickened up some of the outlines there just to make it easier to distinguish from like the little smaller details. But yeah, that's it, folks. Just a quick little Godzilla drawing you can knock out in under an hour. Nothing too fancy. Hopefully you learned a little bit something here. I'm still new to trying to teach how I go about drawing, because I'm just I kind of tunnel vision a little bit. So I'm not sure if I did a good enough job, or if y'all kind of picked up how I went about this. But hopefully you did, you know? Hopefully you did. But anyways, do me a solid. If you liked the video, go ahead, hit that like button. Also, if you're new, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with other content that I upload in the future. Maybe I'll do some more guides about, you know, whatever, how to draw any particular type of creature or something y'all want to see. Let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll do a little breakdown and help you learn how to draw it yourself. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me for today, folks. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.